Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. We're in our Lawrence Welk set here. You can see the bubbles and the chandeliers. Now
Beautiful.
we have, thank you, my friend. And in this edition of Asaph Cafe, we have Emmett here. He's been on our show before. And our hostess, Patti Reed. She's our veteran guest and hostess. And
Hostess, what's up, hostess?
Pee-wee.
What-do-de-do-de-do.
Pee-wee, our mascot. So, and we shot another show a while ago, and we had some goodies, and there's still some goodies left over on this table here. So we're just gonna have some fun. And I'm gonna start with Night and Day, if this piano will allow
Don't
me to do
forget,
it.
tiny bubbles must be squeezed in some.
Oh, I love that song, Night and Day. That's only been played on Lawrence Welk, but one of the easy listening stations I heard years ago that, like I told in one of your episodes, that was kind of one of those, what was it? It was based on when I had AT&T cable, and it was kind of there, and it might have even been, was that, what was it called, DMX? That was just kind of cable radio that I told you about that I got. And then they had kind of another kind of channel when I had an FM splitter, but yeah, I love that song.
Okay, well this is my version, Night and Day. These keys haven't been working very well, so let's see what I can do. These keys are not working as well as they should be at the moment.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, these keys are really, really sticking.
I wonder if it's the smoke or something, or the heat and the smoke.
Well, and then they had that children's camp too.
Oh, yes.
Sticky fingers.
You know, that might have something to do with that. Might have something to do with
We
that
had some
too.
sticky fingers on those.
Wonder if it wasn't Easy 102 again that might have played that. I can't remember, but I know what the lyrics are. You know, Night and Day. Since it's G-rated, I'm not going to sing the whole thing since this is a G-rated show. I was kind of shocked that on the radio they would say, "Whoa, wow," but that's quite. Yeah, I think it was Easy 102 or something else.
I think this song was played a lot in the 70s.
Yeah, but it's a beautiful song, though. I love it. Yeah.
But you always like to say a prayer every time.
Yes, I was thinking about that.
So why don't you do that?
Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, thank you again for this time with Asaph Cafe. It's a fascinating show with a fascinating host. To help us to talk about some fascinating issues and maybe easy listening or some other wonderful things to entertain the audience. And continue to bless us and bless Asaph's coming events and bless our lives. Oh God, protect us always from evil in Jesus' holy name.
I concur.
Yes.
As you were saying, especially about evil, you know,
Yes.
get away from evil. You know, I usually pray that
That's
prayer
the-
every morning. I ask God to keep me from evil.
Same here, yes.
You know, speaking of that, are you familiar with Jabez in the Old Testament? In the in 1 Chronicles chapter 4?
Who's Jabez?
Jabez.
Vaguely, yeah, Jabez.
Spelled, yeah, J.
Yeah,
Jabez.
yeah.
In 1 Chronicles chapter 4, verse 10, and this is a neat story. It says Jabez called upon God and said, "Oh, that you would bless me."
Yes.
He was talking about materially, you know, open a.
Kind of like King
Yes.
Solomon, but
Yeah.
a little bit different.
But what was interesting is after he asked for the material blessings, and he said, then God keep me from evil,
Yes.
that it won't hurt me
Yes.
or grieve you.
Uh-huh.
And then the Bible says God answered that prayer.
Yes.
And that's a neat thing to pray, to, just wake up in the morning and say, God, thank you for another day, keep me from evil. And
Absolutely.
I just like, when you mentioned that.
Absolutely. That's so important.
One of the blessings that
Yeah.
people have to be careful when especially when they get into money.
Well, yeah, but
money
that
brings
was
out
a
the
different
evil
time.
of
Yeah.
Well,
life.
he didn't necessarily ask for money. He asked for material blessings, and in his case, he got exactly what he asked for. But the main thing was to keep from evil and doing bad
Yes,
things.
exactly.
And all that. And I just thought that was a beautiful story.
I always pray that before going to bed at night, Keep
Yeah.
me, Lord, from evil and evil thing,
Yeah,
But
that's
there's
right.
a lot of
Evil
evil
spirits, yeah.
that has been poured in the last 10 years into our
Yeah.
country.
Yeah, you watch a 6 o'clock news. and you can
ISIS,
see-
Yes.
my
and the
goodness.
journalists that just couldn't
People
take it
getting,
anymore.
people getting their heads cut off, and then that story about the reporter that was gunned down.
that was
Yes.
well. That was I believe what really happened with the church shooting is the FBI and the pawn shop owner failed to do a background check on a mentally ill man. Even
Yeah.
if he would have wrapped himself in the American flag as a blanket, we can't blame the flag,
Right.
which is an antique materialistic thing, for what was led through the mental illness and also the evil, because
Well,
the FBI has to protect people, so do pawn shop owners, and
There's
weapons
a-
can't be sold to mentally ill people that are violent.
There's a lot of mental illness going around these days, and I just wonder if it's
About
our American
80%.
diet or something.
Well,
I don't
who
know.
knows?
There's
Who
who
knows?
knows? Something in our food or
There's about
what?
like 80% of America right now has a lot of mental illness, and the pharmaceutical industry is not helping.
Yes, that's
A lot
right.
of doctors and psychiatrists are not helping.
Well, speaking of mental illness,
They should
and
go
I
herbal
wrote about this
medication.
in my book. You're going to get a copy of this as soon as it's available.
Thanks.
I'm still working on that. I told you I have 2 moms,
Mm-hmm.
and my birth mom used to turn the gas stove on,
Mm-hmm.
try to kill everybody in the house when I was
Oh.
growing up.
Mhm.
That's what it was like growing up. And it's not that she was a bad person.
Yeah.
It's just that she was not herself, and
My mom was
there's a
mentally ill.
lot of that going around.
Yeah.
My mom was mentally ill, but she wasn't born that way. I call it human mentally ill.
Well, sometimes circumstances can
Yeah.
cause a person to go in that direction. Bad breaks, tough breaks, difficult
She had a nervous
Concussions,
breakdown.
concussions, drugs. There's a lot of issues, So I'm not casting any stones.
Her
Right,
solution
yeah.
was to always either pour a pitcher of coffee on somebody or a pitcher of water on somebody. Which
Yeah.
the water was quite comical, and I was always hoping the coffee would be cold by the time she got to something like that.
Okay.
Because she
Yeah.
liked people with manners, and if you didn't have manners, didn't offer her a cigarette to smoke down with her or drink a cup of coffee, then you were a rude customer or a rude guest, and that's how it was looked at.
Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, there's a lot of that going around, and in the old days they would zap you with electroshock
Oh, yeah,
therapy,
yeah.
which clearly doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
But
It takes
even if a
training.
person is mentally ill, that doesn't mean they should have bad manners. And if they can't tell the difference, then they need etiquette schools.
But see, it's the thinking processes that gets
Yes.
whacked off.
Yeah.
And see, this is why I had compassion with my birth mom. I'm not dogging on her. She just wasn't herself.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a difficult childhood when I was growing up. And that was why I wrote this
Yes.
book. I wrote this book to help people.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, the name of this book is called Supermarket Pianist. You can go to Amazon.com and order it. It's my autobiography, and I have a book signing September 5th at Hastings starting at 2 o'clock.
And he's very proud, very proud.
Yeah, and
He's
as
multi-talented.
difficult as the childhood was, I had a story to tell. And I
Yeah.
got the
I
opportunity
was
to tell
so
the
embarrassed
story.
sometimes by the way my mom would act, because not many children can say that their mom saw flying rats, and that was because of her medication. So I would tell my friends that I can't go home right now, I need to go to their house. So I was always late going home.
And I'm going to play this song for you. Tell me what you think of it.
Secret agent man.
Recognize it?
I don't.
Secret agent man. Secret agent. Try to reverse.
Afraid I don't. Fascinating. Nope.
I'll keep playing.
Everyone seems to know that he's a man's God.
Still don't know, huh?
Nope.
He's the one who calls when they've got danger. Secret agent man, secret agent man. He secret
Actually, a
agent
singer
there.
named Johnny Rivers, when he was young, introduced that song to the world. He was a guitarist, singer. And they might have used it in movies, but it's called Secret Agent Man.
I think you read it in 007.
Well, they may have used the double, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got that Secret Agent James Bond kind of feel.
I loved all the old James Bond movies. Yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah,
Yeah, you know, Ian Fleming, I think, is the creator of James Bond. He had what an imagination he had to create.
Oh, yeah,
create those
yeah.
characters. And, you know, I know that James Bond is maybe not living a so-called Christian life.
Yeah.
When he's over here, you know,
Some
doing
people
stuff
told
he
me-
shouldn't be doing
Yeah.
with women and stuff, but he's a good guy that's trying
Some
to
people told
stop
me Ian
evil
Fleming
and stuff.
fantasized or he was an actual double agent or agent from working for Secret Service.
Well, maybe.
So, I mean, Chris
it-
Carter who did the X-Files, he came from...
Well, it shows
that
in the
background.
writings of the Bond, and of course Sean Connery.
Yeah, fantastic.
The Squawk.
Look, I know they've had a lot of
Sean
actors
Connery.
playing Bond.
Yes.
But to me, Sean Connery's the man.
Yeah, exactly.
Connery.
Yeah, he's James Bond. That's just like Adam West
Oh,
being
James
Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Michael Keaton and George Clooney and all others, but no, Adam West is Batman.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the thing with the James Bond movies, I don't think they're that not so close to home. I don't think they're just fiction. I mean, we do have secret agents in the U.S. government, the military, British government that are doing this stuff behind the scenes. Like in World War II, we had this, and other things. Well, like the Cold War with the Soviet Union, we would have had that type of secret project. There have been a lot of stuff, you know, behind the
In
scenes.
England,
You know.
and actually in England they have a museum of
Yep.
all the different gadgets, which you'd be surprised. They had gadgets for shoes,
Yes.
they had secret types of cameras and books and all kinds of stuff, hundreds and hundreds of
Made me
Fascinating.
think of that. You said
Inspector
agent-
Gadget.
Inspector-
Oh, yes.
I think Matthew Broderick did pretty good for being Inspector Gadget. But the guy who played Get Smart, he was the voice for the cartoon Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
I never watched the cartoon Inspector Gadget.
That was cool. I watched it.
Fascinating.
Then we have Mike Myers doing his version with the mini me. Oh, behave. His favorite scene, Shaggin. Dr. Evil.
Oh, these keys are not working very well.
Oh, strange. Must be
But
the
anyway,
smoke.
that's the theme song to Inspector Gadget. Ron Adams was the actor that played Inspector Gadget. He played Get Smart.
Yeah.
I liked his voice. He had a very, very distinct voice.
And you know, when I was a little boy, I watched him in Tennessee Tuxedo. He did the voice to Tennessee Tuxedo. I don't know if you know that cartoon.
No.
Have you seen Mr. Bean try to be an agent? Oh my,
No.
oh my God.
Well, Tennessee Tuxedo was this penguin, and his best friend was a walrus named Chumley. They always stood for right, and they had to deal with the other animals in the zoo. And Stanley was the zookeeper, Stanley Livingston. He didn't think much of Tennessee
I remember.
Tuxedo.
I remember that.
And so when Tennessee would always get in trouble or have a problem, they'd go to see Mr. Phineas J. Whoopi. And Mr. Whoopi was like this bookworm that had this chalkboard that would stretch, and then he would explain like history and science and math and stuff, and then Tennessee would go and save the day after getting help.
Interesting,
It
interesting.
was like, wasn't it from the Bullwinkle?
Yeah,
Rocky
it's in the
show?
Bullwinkle family.
Yeah, I remember.
Huh,
I used to
but
watch
I used to love-
Actually, okay, let me get that more accurate.
And W. Wright.
Yeah.
In the 60s, Jay Ward, he's the creator of Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, I love that cartoon, very much so.
And during that time of Rocky and Bullwinkle, they had Underdog, and Underdog had a variety of characters, like I think it was Tennessee Tuxedo,
W. Do Right.
Dudley Do Right. There were a bunch of.
I remember
Agony
Dudley Do
with
Right
Josh.
because when I was a kid, do you remember? Now I used to love these as a kid. For anyone who's a kid who's out there watching who doesn't know, well, we used to have something fun called Viewmaster Viewfinders. What we used to have. Do you remember a Viewmaster Viewfinder? You could get this at the store, and they were just like still pictures of like various things like
Yep.
Carlsbad Caverns or even Dudley Do-Right.
You slide in the cartridge.
Yes, and you would just look at this and look at this and look, and it had little captions. I loved them as a kid.
Okay.
Do you remember having one of those or
No, I
not?
can't
They were
say that I have.
wonderful. They were wonderful. They did have one on not only Rocky and Bullwinkle, but Dudley Do-Right. I
Okay,
remember
well,
Yes,
okay,
Scooby-Doo.
but getting back to Jay Ward
Superman,
though, his
Batman.
cartoons was Bullwinkle, Rocky, and it was Bullwinkle with Rocky,
I'll fill you
Dudley
in.
Do-Right, Mr. Peabody.
Underdog.
No, Underdog was in that era, but not by Jay Ward.
Oh, how about, okay.
Underdog had
Dudley
Tennessee
Do-Right.
Tuxedo, and they had Commander McBragg. That he was this guy that would always tell these fictitious stories about how he's saving the world all the time.
So
Oh, I
what's-
saved the world by taking my ink pen and shooting up the British soldiers. And this is a ridiculous
So then
thing
they
like
had
that.
Dudley Do-Right, right? And then
That was
Dudley was
the Dudley Do-Right was with Jay Ward and Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Okay.
You know, kind of thing.
We have Sally Wash, who was the masked one that always tied up Dudley's beloved to the railroad tracks, and she would go, oh, they turn it to a silent film.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a piano song, you know.
Yeah. You know what? Not to change the subject, but because I always love to bring in something easy listening.
Okay.
I was going through some of my books while listening to the Lawrence Welk show. I was doing the dishes, and because that's been one of my things since it's come on the air in 1987 on PBS. I do my dishes Saturday night and serve housework and watch the Lawrence Welk show, or at least listen to it while I'm doing housework.
Well, you know, when I was growing up, my parents would have the television on with the Lawrence Welk show.
Yes.
My mom would be cooking. I'm talking about my birth mom when she was healthy. She'd be cooking, and my father would be just doing work around the house, and you can hear the music of the Lawrence Welk show coming into the living room at our home.
Yes.
And I used to sit in front of the TV. I was like really little. I used to sit in front of the TV and just watch.
Yeah.
And it's funny because now I'm hosting
Yeah, the Lawrence
Welk show.
Yeah, I love
You
it.
are 20th century Lawrence Welk.
Yeah, I am doing the new Lawrence Welk show, and we're getting close now. It got picked up by PBS. I think I mentioned that too.
Yes.
And I need about $100,000 to do the entire series for the entire year.
I think
Yeah.
you're going to end up doing 2 episodes and then a PBS telethon.
Well, no, I mean, I could do like 8 episodes for starters.
Mhm.
That's for the entire season. And then the Lawrence Welk Network, OETA, contacted me, and as soon as I get that on PBS, they might be able to step in and help,
Thrilling.
find
Yeah.
more sponsors. So
I remembered, thing is, I remembered, I don't know how I remembered this, but my grandmother gave me a nice small book, children's book, years ago, 1978 when I was 10 or 11, that Lawrence Welk himself wrote about his first accordion and how he used to play in his farm in Kentucky or whatever it was, and play his accordion for the farm animals, including little bunnies and that kind of thing, and how he dreamed of entertaining people. I thought, wait a minute, doesn't it have a signed autograph? I got to get this out. So I went to my bedroom and my bookshelf and got it out and I looked. My grandmother herself, my grandmother, went to one of Lawrence Welk's concerts and met Lawrence Welk. That small children's book that I have has a signed autograph to Emmett, your pal Lawrence Welk.
wow, what a cool story.
Wow, I have got to bring it and show it to you, sometime, on the show.
I'd love to see that.
I'm sorry I don't have proof. I didn't even know I was doing
I
it.
You
believe
could
you.
show that
Yeah,
to
no.
Antiques Roadshow. They could give you some value on that one.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't part
Nor
with
would
that
I.
if
Never.
If it's autographed by Lawrence Welk.
Yeah, I'll never part with that.
No way.
And also a couple of other of the cast members, but I couldn't recognize who they were. But it was signed by Lawrence Welk and a couple of the cast members. Now that is a keeper. It's a sweet story, but that's a keeper. And I wasn't even watching Lawrence Welk at the time.
Yeah, well, I would pay attention, and you know what I always appreciated about the Lawrence Welk show is how tight that band was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Man, those guys could play. I mean, Johnny Carson had a really tight band too with Doc Severinsen and the Tonight Show, but I think the Lawrence Welk, I think they had the best band on television. I don't think they had the biggest name on television, but I think they had the biggest
You
band.
think they were copying Ricky Ricardo?
I don't think so. I just think I think Lawrence Welk just came up at the right time.
He did, yes.
And when they moved to Los Angeles from North Dakota, they were working, I think it was KTLA, and they were doing those concerts not making a lot of money, and then the director from, I think it was KTLA Television, said, we're going to give this show a chance. They started filming that and showing that show on the air, and they kept showing it, and all of a sudden it took off eventually. About a year later, they were doing just a year's worth of work and getting that exposure, and that show started growing. And the rest is history. 50 years later, they still showing the Lawrence Welk show. But in its heyday, it was on for like 30 years before it went into syndication and reruns and stuff. Imagine that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I have a 1 and a 2 of My Life with My Musical Family by Lawrence Welk. Yeah, I have that.
He's the only one that I know that would go, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Instead of thank you.
what was it? The comedians. Oh man, they really laid into Lawrence Welk in his time.
I was waiting for one comedian would come up with, when he started saying his thank you, there'd be a tank that comes through and say thank you.
Well, I don't know about the tank,
you.
but they had there was a recent skit about Lawrence Welk on Saturday Night Live, and the guy was saying thank you. Did you see that?
No.
Betty White was hosting that episode, and the ratings went sky high when she hosted that. And so, since it was Betty White, they started off with the Lawrence Welk show. They had the bubbles, and that comedian comes out, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And isn't it funny? I can say tank every time instead of thank, the TH. They were making fun of his accent. And I thought it was amusing.
I didn't see that.
They had the bubbles on there, and and the guy looked like Lawrence Welk.
I didn't catch that when it started of that episode, but I did see Betty White, and I thought
it's posted on YouTube, that skit.
I thought it was funny, a later skit that she did, where everybody goes, thank you for being my friends, right? And then she turns around and goes, I like this version better. And she has all these wrestlers come in, and they're starting to knock everybody out and everything.
Yeah, God bless Betty White. This lady's 90-something years old.
She is funny.
And she is still going strong.
She did CSI Elderly. They were trying to figure out why everybody was falling asleep at the rest home.
Well, I recently did a story on Betty White. She's been in the entertainment industry something like 70 years now. And she started with a show called Life with Elizabeth. I think in the 1940s or something like that. It was like Leave It to Beaver or something like that, I guess is the way to describe it. And she's just going strong. She's just as popular now as she ever was.
She's on a show now with 3 or 4 other elderly people, and what they do is they go around pulling practical jokes on younger people. It's just hilarious. They've got a cynical sense of humor, and they get the younger ones really good. They really do, and it makes the younger people think before they're going, okay, is this a joke? Are these people really this old and senile? And it's over in Florida. It's funny as hell. I can't think of the name of it, but it's funny.
Speaking of skits, did you see the Lawrence Welk episode? And I have it somewhere on tape, somewhere. I wonder where it is in all my volumes of videotapes. I have it. Did you see the one where Lawrence Welk, he was really in a good mood for the premiere of one of the premieres of the seasons of his show when it was on ABC or something. He pretended to be a hippie. He dressed up as a hippie.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, it was a riot. I wonder if we could Google it up somewhere. Anyway, it was the beginning of the new season of Lawrence Welk on one of the fall, and Lawrence Welk came out, hippie glasses, hippie clothes.
I didn't see that episode.
Yeah, it was hilarious, and he said, "Stop the music! Stop the music! Don't you cats know that this polka music is from Squaresville? I can't stand that kind of music." Because they were playing polka and dancing. Said, you've heard of the Beatles, the Toidles? Well, here is what we're going to do. Our new show is going to have something in the Babbling Baboons. And they tried to play hippie music, and some of the play hippie music, and two of the
see the dancers.
two of the other members of the cast said, "Mr. Lawrence Welk, we are protesting you. We're protesting. Whatever happened to the music that went doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle?" And he had heard us, but like, "What are you gonna do? Have you flipped? No. What's wrong? Well, what are you gonna do if you're protesting?" And he said, "This is what we're gonna do." And they took his glasses off and his hippie clothes off, and he had his suit and a tie, and he said, "No," and everyone applauded, and he said, "Now that is just a sample of the music we're not going to do. We're not gonna change our format, and that's a promise. No, you've been too good to us. No, we're not gonna do that to you." And then they started out with the woodchucker's ball, that they always have, and it was a hilarious skit. I mean,
I
it
would have
was.
loved to have seen that.
It might be a Googled up, and he even wrote about it in his book, a 1 and a 2. Unfortunately, a lot of the elderly people didn't like it. Like when he would do it live, on Broadway stage or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like they would try and do that. A lot of the people who were sitting up, in the bleachers, really couldn't see the dancers very well or the actors, whatever it was, and they thought, well, here's another one gone bad. So he kind of regretted it because it took a long time for the audience to warm up to him again. I don't know why.
What it is I think people are hurting for cleaner.
They were, and they
and
still.
I knew that Lawrence Welk was just making fun.
Yeah, and I thought it was hilarious,
That'd be a
Yeah,
Kodak
but
moment.
that just goes
I'd
to
give
show
to
you
see
there's
that
a
one.
market for people who just want the clean stuff.
There
I
is.
have nothing against Beyonce and Miley Cyrus, but people are getting enough of this.
Yes,
getting
absolutely.
Their backside shaking and
Absolutely.
front side shaking. And
What
they
about
just
the
want a
kids,
family. Yeah, because if you have a 5-year-old grandkid.
Well, see, some women all
Exactly.
think they can be
Yeah.
Madonna, and we know they can't.
Yeah.
No, I'm not picking on these artists. I'm just saying that people are wanting that, and that's why this new Lawrence Welk show that I'm doing, I want to provide that for people again.
Absolutely.
I am very thankful that Madonna adopted children, had formerly married, and now she's divorced Guy Ritchie, because Guy Ritchie and the children toned her down. They made her come back to earth.
Yeah, but that's what I want to do. I just want to make a clean family show.
Exactly,
and,
exactly.
Bring it back to life.
I think that's wonderful.
Yeah, and when I contacted Lawrence Welk Network, I told him that was what my intention is. I just want to bring his show to life, but we're just doing more modern music, like when I do that Beat It.
Yes,
I do my version of Beat It.
exactly.
See?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. So I guess he won't. Yeah, wonderful. I
More
guess.
modern music,
yeah.
but in that style, the Lawrence Welk style.
I guess he won't be playing Surrey with the fringe on top.
Probably not. I like that song.
Did you-
Yeah, I love that
Did-
song.
did
I
you
heard it on
ever-
easy listening, but yeah, I love it myself. But
Have you ever heard of Michael Jackson's recent last song? I can't think of the name of it, but basically the chorus goes,
No, I don't think of that. But
yeah,
no, we won't be doing Surrey with a Fringe on top because Lawrence Welk's already done that. So when we do this new Lawrence Welk show, it'll be in the Lawrence Welk style.
Yes,
more
yes.
modern music.
Uh-huh.
Really different to make that work.
wasn't it called Last Chance? One Last Chance at Love. Yeah, that I have that Michael Jackson album. Yeah.
Let's have fun with that.
As a matter of fact, when I first heard that on, my Music Choice Easy Listening, and it had to scroll Surrey with the fringe on top, I wondered, what is a Surrey? So I had to look up it in the dictionary. I found it's like a horseless carriage. Yeah, I love the song myself.
I'm playing it right now.
Oh, thanks. Spinning in the washing machine, la la la. Like to make kind of a big announcement. I know a lot of people probably haven't, or watching the show, haven't seen my show, The Awful Truth About Society. I've retired the show for good.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Let's talk about the history of your show. For those who don't know, what's the name of the program?
The Awful Truth About Society. That's what it used to be.
You did that show for 20 years?
20 and a half years.
And you just recently retired from
Yes.
doing that?
Well,
now that you're retired from that show, you're welcome to always be on this cafe if you like.
Wonderful, I would, yeah.
I mean, we may not necessarily get
So what promoted you to retire the show?
I've been praying about this for a year. First, what started as a show about exposing the evils of society and really deep topics that aren't talked about in this show, like school, work, the government, and child abuse, and I gave solutions from a Christian and a punk rock point of view, led people to the Lord. But since for a couple of years, I haven't been getting any response either from the station, people calling in, say they love it or they hate it, or people talking to me on the street saying, "Hey, Emmett, I love that show," or "I hate that show," or "I don't know where you're coming from," because I used to get that all the time.
Well, you have to remember you did it for 20 years, and maybe this is a time in your life where you can do something different, like say this Asaph Cafe.
Yes. So anyway,
there's a guest on here on and stuff.
I prayed about it for a year, but I was thinking I was going to move to Oregon to be near relatives. I decided a lot of prayer, it wouldn't have worked out. It's a beautiful town. I don't know, but I'm not going to move to Oregon. But I've been praying about, Lord, since I don't seem to have an audience, do you want me to do the show anymore? It's like going to the deserts in California and preaching to the sand dunes, or going to the moon. There's nobody there. I mean, it only works if there's someone there. And the Lord keeps seeming to say, Emmett, what do you want? I kept at the prayer. I wanted to hear this. He kept saying, Emmett, what do you want to do? It's your show too, just not just mine. And I said, Lord, no one is watching, and for the time and effort I'm doing with this, and I've covered everything I wanted to talk about anyway, Lord, if it's okay, could I please retire the show? And he said, what would you like? It's up to you, Emmett. And I decided to do that. Yeah.
Well, 20 years, that's quite a record,
20 and a half years.
20 and a half years of memories, and you can always do reruns if you do a reunion.
And it is on reruns, it is on MCAT On Demand. Some stuff is going to be put on the YouTube,
Yeah, so you can post all that, and just...
Yeah, and so, but I really did decide, and I did my last show last night. It was rerun last night, my last show, and no one's really commented one way or the other. Occasionally I'll have people saying, do you still do the show anymore? I don't get cable. I often get that a lot. Or do you still do this show? I said, yeah, I'm retiring it, The most audience I have right now is 8 or 10 people, and I can't do a show for 8 or 10 people.
Well, this might be a new time in your life.
It's probably because of a lot of
Thanks.
Maybe this is your new
It might be.
platform. I don't know.
It might be.
It's probably because of cable also,
I think so. A lot of people aren't watching cable anymore. They love social media like the YouTube,
That's
Facebook.
why I've been posting every Asaph Cafe on the
YouTube
social media.
That's wonderful. You have to.
I'm getting hits, and then my Lawrence Welk show has over 700 views and 14 thumbs up so far.
Wonderful.
It's not even hit PBS yet, so
that's wonderful. But that's
probably the way to go.
Yeah, that's probably the whole thing. Yeah, I'm just going to.
Well, I enjoy having. You remind me of Doc Severinsen, the famous trumpeter.
Oh, thanks.
Well, let me explain what I mean by that. Now, I'm not a trumpet player, obviously, but he did the Tonight Show for 30 years, right? And now, when you see Doc Severinsen, it's fresh because he's doing a new chapter in his life.
Yeah.
And he was on the Tonight Show just the other night, playing with the Roots.
Yeah.
Doc Severinsen is 88 years old now.
Interesting.
And he can still play the trumpet, which I think is amazing. So he
was
up there front. He was the front man
Yes.
with the Roots the other day with Jimmy Fallon. I thought that's a new transition in his life,
Yeah, I thought it was cute watching Jimmy Fallon just a couple of nights ago. I turned over his channel. Here he is doing the Righteous Brothers with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
They
But
were
see, my
lip-syncing
point
it.
is you're in a different stage in your life, like Doc Severinsen.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by remind me of him.
Maybe you might
did
be
your
doing a
for
different
20
show
years?
soon with new views.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, you can
a lot of things
rerun
are
them.
changing.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do on YouTube, and it's on demand, so it's still on MCAT On Demand.
And who knows, maybe if the good Lord bless me to get this Lawrence Welk show, maybe I'll find something for you to do on that show. That could be another...
Yeah, that'd be wonderful, singing or
transition,
just being an audience member or something. Yeah.
Or just, and even with your aging punk look,
Yeah.
it might work for, like, if I do, like, say, Painted Black.
Yeah. Don't know the song.
Maybe put you...
I do have a suit and a tie and home I can wear, for the Lawrence Welk shtick, for easy listening, something like that, though it's getting a little small for me. I got it about 10 years ago, it's getting a little small for me.
Well, we're going to be doing little fun skits, too.
Oh, that's good.
If we had a punk rock thing on the Lawrence Welk show, we wouldn't be doing that loud music. It'd be like Lawrence Welk style.
I
And that's
love
where
it.
the comedy comes in. You
And maybe I could be conducting the orchestra,
just something like that, so we'll see. But that's my goal, is
That's
to have
wonderful.
a fun
I like
family
it.
show and stuff. And there's a lot of rock music and rock and roll songs that if you clean them up,
Yeah,
they can be pretty
yeah.
good songs.
As a matter of fact, on my show, and this is, I think, the favorite, if I can go back to some memories of my show, the favorite 2 episodes I ever did on my Awful Truth About Society, they're kind of heartbreaking too. This is before the Music Choice channels with easy listening and everything on cable. But, I talked about how easy listening had died out, and I also talked about how Lewiston, Idaho had changed. Remember I told you I used to live in Lewiston? I may have mentioned this, but I did call up the old, station that was KOZ-FM, and I called up some of the old people, and they did give me permission to play on the air the easy listening I had recorded as a teenager.
Okay.
And I did. For 2 episodes, I played that beautiful easy listening that, was, and I showed pictures of Lewiston, Idaho. So those were my favorites, just that easy listening that you can only get, and you can't get on anywhere anymore, like even the other stuff, occasionally I'll play a song, but, KOZ FM, Lewiston, that was haunting. It was beautiful. It was just the gorgeous music. So I even, and here I was coming back as a hardcore punk rocker with a mohawk, leather jacket, orange dyed red hair, chains, the whole thing, and I was playing easy listening. How often do you get to see that?
Well, speaking of easy listening,
That was
talking about the
multi-talent
Righteous
right there.
Brothers, here's a good song. When was the last time we played the piano, or these pianos? When was the last time you were able to play this piano, or? Well, they had that children's camp recently for the last few weeks, and that could have something to do with. It just probably needs to be adjusted again and done.
I was doing a fascinating thing with my surreal jokes at the end of my show, because they had this piano here, and I had this cardboard thing of, an old cardboard box of, crackers. I didn't have crackers anymore. I just called it Blindy the Fascinating Hand Puppet. I didn't even have a face on it. And then I would call this the surreal piano, and I would bang on it, going, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, fascinating there, and I would just bang on the piano, A, B, C, D, E, and then I would tell a surreal joke, and I said, isn't that fascinating? Well, and this has been the awful truth about it. This show was produced with equipment
He is a
facilities.
hardcore reader.
Yeah.
Hardcore speller. Hardcore crossword player.
Yeah, this show was produced with equipment and facilities provided by Missoula Community Access Television, MCAT. This show was produced in May, year 2014. See, so I've been doing this for a year. That banging, whenever this was here, that would be my shtick. We gotta play this on the piano video, because I always closed with a surreal joke. It's been another long, grim day. So I'm gonna tell a surreal joke to lighten the mood, because it's been so serious. But here's the serial piano, and going to put on, it's just a weird people that have Blindy the Fascinating Hand Puppet.
And you wondered why Sesame Street went dry.
Here's a new song that I hope to do.
So I hope I didn't ruin the piano, is what I'm trying to say. I hope it wasn't me.
No, I don't think so.
Like, you could say that with Sesame Street having also an earthquake at the same time.
Yeah.
To get a grip.
The Dance of the Sugar Plum Fair, I'm working that out for the holiday season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll need to do a Christmas show if we're doing Lawrence Welk.
Yeah.
I always
I'm
love
hoping to
their
have a winter
Christmas shows.
vacation elsewhere.
Yeah, I just love their Christmas shows. Weren't they adorable on the Lawrence
They
Welk
were.
show? Have some of them recorded, and they always have the Lawrence Welk's children, and they have some doing some dances, and just adorable, Some on
I'm
Santa
still
Claus.
working the bugs out on this song, but yeah, I'll have it ready hopefully by Christmas this year.
Yeah, then maybe we can do a New Year's show or something.
I'd like to.
I'd like to do a holiday vacation show. Where I get to do nothing but traveling and talk about different places like Ireland and Scotland and Amsterdam, maybe London, England, along with some other fun places in America like Hawaii.
I'm still working the bugs
In
out.
Colorado, they actually have an amusement park called the North Pole.
Oh, yeah.
All year long, you can meet Santa Claus during the summer.
Cool.
And you can ride the teacups and everything with the elves. And
I like
you
it.
get to say hi to Mrs. Claus and get to see the candy cane house. And
I wish I had
candy cane
bug
fun
spray.
house.
If you're working out the bugs, there's bug spray
Yeah,
at
I'm
home.
working the bugs out on that song right
Black-
there.
Yeah,
Flaggets.
is there any bug spray we have? Maybe this time. That's trying to be a joke.
I caught that.
Just use some black
hilarious.
flag. Just black flag it instead of red flag.
Wasn't that a funny joke, folks? Isn't that hilarious? That's the way my mind works,
Instead of red flagging it like the FBI does, we're black flagging it.
Yes.
Well, I'll have that song worked out and prepared by Christmas of this year, but I've got it finally memorized, you know.
Yeah.
If you have some sugar plums, please send them to Asaph to help inspire him.
So I'm working it out.
Yeah.
But
Watch you'll get some canned jars full of sugar plums.
I
yeah.
wanted to put that in my repertoire. I thought that'd be a fun song to bring
That
back
would
to
be,
life,
yeah. They played that on Lawrence Welk show sometimes.
I'm sure,
too.
but they had it polished. Not
Oh,
the
yeah.
version I'm stumbling across here, you know.
I'm waiting to hear a song about dolls because I collect lots of dolls and I got my house back in order somewhat after the weatherization. So all of my dolls are staring out at me now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. So that's gonna be a fun song to bring to life.
Yeah.
When I get it ready like I want it.
Are you hot and bothered? Are you bothered and hot? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the holidays are coming up pretty soon. But this is August, right? End of September, October, November. In 3 months, it'll be Thanksgiving and the beginning of the holiday season. That's coming up fast.
Well,
3
I'm pretty
months.
much prepared as far as the Christmas songs go.
That's good.
I just want to get that Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy
What are you
down
doing?
and try to get it ready by the
What
are you
holiday
doing?
season.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to memorize that thing, first of all.
No, come here.
It took a while.
Uh-huh.
So now that I got it memorized, I just got to get used to playing it.
He was singing, climb every chair instead of climb every mountain.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to articulate it. See something like
Spinning dryer, huh?
well, I'm trying to figure out how fast I want to play it.
Yeah.
And I think it might sound better if I don't use the pedals on this song. Just do it kind of
Yeah.
something like this. See,
Play along, give me.
without the pedals. See.
Oh, yeah.
See?
Mm-hmm.
See something
Yes,
like that.
yes.
I'm trying to figure out how I want to do it.
Yes.
Because if you use a pedal on something like that, it might be too mushy.
Well, you play that one and she'll play air piano.
Well, I'll have it all figured out. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still learning that Dance with the Sugar Plum Fairy. So, I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
A ways to go.
And there's fairies whispering in his ear as he plays.
The hardest part was trying to memorize that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And see, the tricky thing about classical music is when you do classical music, you have to memorize the fingers with the notes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe if you
So that was a
imagine
chore.
the ballerina dancing at the same time, it might help you.
Yeah. Here's a song, Emmett, and see if you know this one here. Don't know it?
Isn't that one of the ones that Billy Graham played? It wasn't a Billy Graham one. I don't.
Oh, no, that's my old Kentucky home.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly,
That's
not.
called
Make
my
me
old
dizzy, Pee-wee.
Kentucky home.
You make
Okay.
me
Yeah.
dizzy.
They played that at the Kentucky Derby at the ring.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't think that's connected with Billy Graham.
Yeah, okay.
Not really. I'm not into necessarily the gambling aspect of the Kentucky Derby, but it is fun to watch those horses go around that track.
Yeah.
They train like a whole year to get those animals ready, and they run like, it takes like about a minute or two as
I
fast as
never
those
did
animals are.
understand how the jockeys could go like this
Yeah.
when the horses are going.
I don't know.
I've never watched the Kentucky Derby in my life.
It's not very long. I mean, by the time they do the commentaries, introducing the trainers and all, that's what makes the show be like an hour. Because by the time they line those horses up to take off, about a minute and a half later, it's already over.
Mm-hmm.
So I admit, I get a kick out of seeing these young thoroughbred horses running around. They run like about a mile or two or something. They run like about 2 minutes or something. They just run around that track. That trumpet player goes, however trumpet players do it, and then they pull the gate and those horses take off. It's just like running the track,
Yeah.
You watch these jockeys.
Oh yeah, the Kentucky Derby. Now I remember.
Well,
Yeah,
they have to
horse
be a
race,
certain
and
weight,
they run
too.
around. They run around this big long track, And then usually whoever wins ends up getting like $1 million or something.
Yeah, I didn't realize that the jockeys have to be a certain weight, and
Well,
the trainer
yeah.
is very, very, very picky too.
You can't have a fat Tinkerbell on a horse like that Saturday Night Live. You ever see that Tinkerbell character? that
No,
they got?
I never watched Saturday Night Live.
They got a remake now of Tinkerbell.
Huh.
Oh,
And she's
Lord.
Tinkerbell with attitude. This is so amusing. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
funny.
not trying to pick on the actress. You know, she's
Yeah.
kind of a full-figured gal.
Yeah.
Oh, I know
And
you,
she's
the brunette.
yeah, she's got this green outfit with these wings. She's like, talk to the hand.
Yeah.
I ain't got no magic for ya.
You know,
Oh.
and it's like this Tinkerbell with this attitude.
Hilarious.
It brings this freshness to this character. Because Tinkerbell's like this real sweet, you know.
You know, honestly, I love science fiction, but I never even cared for the cone heads. I've tried to watch
Oh,
the cone.
really?
Yeah, I just didn't find them funny. I looked at it and I didn't even find it as much. The only thing that they and I have in common, we both like mass quantities of fear. I love that. That was funny, but that's about it.
You know, they were probably trying some new science fiction characters when Saturday Night Live first came out, those cone heads.
Yeah, that was
I'm
after
like
Star
you,
Wars.
I've looked at that, and it's like, yeah. I
Yeah.
like Dan Aykroyd. I think he's a fine actor, but the Coneheads just didn't seem to work for me.
Yeah, and it was right after
They
Star
have
Wars,
him
so
on a
I get it.
commercial now.
Yeah, I get it. It was right after Star Wars, so they wanted a science fiction funny skit about
They actually
aliens.
I mean, I realize that, but
They actually
didn't
have
work.
him
It didn't work
on a State Farm commercial now with the Coneheads.
yeah, I know I saw
Yeah.
that commercial, and it's just as humorous, just like
Yeah, and again, like I never cared for the Muppets, and I never cared for Muppets in Space.
Oh,
it just,
really?
Yeah, it just didn't make me laugh if it was a comedy. Was it a comedy? I don't even know what it was. Yeah, I just never
Well, NASA has a
laughed.
new company now. It's called NASA in Russia.
NASA and Russia?
Yeah, NASA in Russia.
Never heard of it.
They sold
No.
America sold NASA to Russia. That's the point.
Jim Henson had a really good idea when he created the Muppets. I think they originally were on Sesame Street before they
Yeah.
branched out on.
Well, you know that we had Dr. Hook, right? So then they have their own version of Dr. Hook. Yeah,
But
animal.
yeah, the chemistry between
Animal,
Kermit
animal.
and Miss Piggy is what made that show work.
Huh.
And then when they had
Yeah.
when they had a guest like say Liberace or somebody, there was those two film critics sit up in the balcony that always make fun of all the guests on there.
Yeah.
I did figure
Big-
out what would
big on
happen
folks.
if we had Miss Piggy and Kermit finally consummate their marriage and have children. We'd have either figlets or proglets, but they'd be pink either way with half
Yeah.
frog and half pig.
Well, I'm
so
sure
it goes
Piglet
back.
and Winnie the
Ribbit.
Pooh would appreciate that. Are you familiar with Piglet, the character on Winnie the Pooh? Piglet?
No, I never cared for Winnie the Pooh either.
What I like about that
Oh my
character is
goodness.
just the innocency of Piglet. Like I saw this episode of Winnie the Pooh where Piglet was supposed to guess when winter was coming.
Mm.
I love Winnie the
Piglet
Pooh.
was way off.
Interesting.
Way off. But the character was such innocent.
Yeah.
Meant well.
My favorite is when Winnie the Pooh always got caught in the hole trying to get the honey pot.
Uh-huh.
And then they had all of his friends trying to pull him out, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah, they
because he
could pull
was
him
too
out
stuck.
of the hole of
I thought that
That's
was
adorable.
funny.
doorway. Yeah,
Oh, that was
he
funny.
ate too much honey.
That's adorable. That's adorable. Yeah.
Yeah, but those were some fun characters on Winnie the Pooh. They were in a 1,000-acre forest.
Yes.
And it was just such an innocency.
Yeah,
about
that's
those
wonderful.
characters.
Yeah. I was, however, one of the original Sesame Street kids because I was born in 1967 and I
Okay.
started watching when I was 5 years old.
Uh-huh.
My mother, relative said, my day would not go right if I missed Sesame Street. My whole day would be ruined.
Well, let me tell
That
you
was
what
one of the back in the old days when they really had that old series, you know.
Well, let me play some. Tell me if you know this song.
It's just too hot and loud. No water. No water for you. Her tail's keeping up with your beats.
You
Don't know
recognize
it,
that?
no.
That's called "This Is the Song That Never Ends." It just does that melody over and over. This is the song that never ends.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, before
around
the
here?
Sesame Street, there was Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop.
Hmm.
And Captain Kangaroo, those characters.
I watched, I think, when I was 2 years old. My sister,
Yeah.
I don't remember Captain Kangaroo that well, barely. I was 2 years
Well,
old.
this song that never ends was one of the theme songs in the Sherry Lewis and Lamb Chop, and they were the children's entertainment before Mr. Rogers and before
Sesame Street
and all that.
Interesting.
And Shirley Lewis had two main characters. Well, actually, three main characters.
They were sock puppets.
There was Hush
And that's what they
Puppy,
did.
just like Winnie the Pooh. You know,
Uh-huh.
Just
Hush
like
Puppy.
that.
And then there was, of course, Lamb Chop, the most famous character. And then there was Charlie Horse. He was kind of the mischievous character with his long horse ears. And so Charlie Horse would always go, "This is the song that never is." And she said, "Charlie Horse, stop it! Stop singing that song!" And it was just fun. But those are the
We
characters.
argued with her
Sesame
socks.
Street.
Interesting.
Children's entertainment.
Yeah. My mother said that, I don't know, remember this, but they had changed, you know, they always have new seasons of Sesame Street year after year. Well, some of 1974-75, they completely changed the look and feel of Sesame Street. And I was very upset for the rest of the day. It just wasn't the same Sesame Street. And if you ever can Google up the old series of Sesame Street from 1967 through 70, that's what I remember. And they have changed Sesame Street over the years. I've seen some of the newer ones, and it's just not Sesame Street for me anymore. It's just not the old, what I remember as a
The two
little kid.
characters that will never change are Oscar the Grouch and the Can.
That's true.
And Big Bird. And
That's
Big Bird
true.
is a very expensive bird because if one feather is messed up, they have to put all new feathers.
Yeah.
And they have to dye them yellow because there's no such thing as yellow feathers.
Yeah.
And it's a $10,000 bird walking around going,
Oh.
"Hello, everybody."
Amazing, yeah.
That's one hell of a tall, expensive bird.
You
Yeah.
know this song here? I'll do it again.
You ever seen me? Winnie the Pooh, chubby little tummy, all short and fluffy.
Don't-
Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh, chubby little snow bear.
Don't
That's
know
the
it.
thing to Winnie the Pooh.
I know, my mom used to sing it.
Well, anyway, getting back to Sesame Street, yeah, I know that show has changed over the
Yeah.
years, but
They've had almost every type of actor on there guesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
at one time they did. They used to have a lot of movie stars.
Rita Moreno was on there.
I saw that one with Rita Moreno.
She
Yeah,
was on there.
I don't know
She
if you
was
remember
really
her. She was famous.
I guess I grew out of Sesame Street around 1975, 1976. I can't remember the year that I grew out of it. I just stopped
You know
watching
what?
it.
You know what was it? Mad comic book they have, right?
Oh, Mad
yeah.
Magazine you're talking about?
They were
Oh,
making
yeah.
fun of
I used to
Sesame
read
Street.
that.
Oh, yeah. I
Boy,
can
they
see that.
picked on everybody, Mad
Yeah,
Magazine.
I loved
Yeah.
Mad Magazine because it's so
And-
politically incorrect. I
I
love
know, that's what was so funny about. I mean, they picked on poor Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what they did to him in the Mad Magazine?
No.
Well, you remember the $6 Million Man with Lee Major?
Yeah.
Yes.
How popular that was. Well, when Mad Magazine did their version of the $6 Million
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
when the bad guys captured, I think it was, what's his name? Oscar Goldman?
Yeah.
They shoved a bunch of McDonald's Big Macs down his throat to get him to talk.
Hilarious.
Talk! Oh, keep me feed you Big Macs from
Hilarious.
McDonald's. It
They
was
made
just-
fun of Bert and Ernie, and,
Oh,
and
my
they
goodness,
said
yeah.
the reason why they will never quit being roommates is they're too close to being homosexual buddies.
Hilarious.
That
Hilarious.
sounds like.
Oh,
That
oh,
sounds
like,
like
oh.
That is
Magazine.
hilarious.
They, yeah, they
It's
just
like going,
picked
oh my
on
God, they grew
everybody.
up. Bert and Ernie's now all grown up. Now we
Yeah.
know.
Well, I read that Mad Magazine a lot.
Same
when I
here,
was
same
growing
here.
up.
Did
Yeah.
you always like the last page? You know how they said take this last page and
Oh,
put that
yeah,
made another
hilarious.
picture?
Yeah.
That was very, very coordinated there.
Well, we talked about everything from Mad Magazine on this show to
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh to Sesame Street and
Yeah.
of course your retirement from your show.
Yes.
So you're always welcome to be part of this show. anytime
Thanks.
you feel up to it.
The only thing we forgot to talk about
What's that?
is what happened when Wile E. Coyote caught the Roadrunner finally.
Did he finally catch the Roadrunner?
Yes, what happened is he ran through a pipe and the Roadrunner kept running, and when he got done, the Roadrunner was 10 feet tall and he was a little itty bitty, so he grabbed Roadrunner's leg and he held up his leg and goes, "Okay, I finally caught it. Now what do you want me to do with it?"
Hilarious.
Never did get dinner. Never did get dinner.
Well, and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to be signing up out of here. And once again, we have Emmett as our guest on this version of Asaph Cafe. And of course, now that you're retired from your
Yes.
show, you're always welcome to be part of this if you
Thanks.
Give me.
like. It may not be quite as intense as your show.
No, but I like that
It's fun.
G-rated. It's a G-rated show, so I like the fact that we just have humor stuff, talk about easy listening.
Yeah.
And so I like that. I know it's not my show, but I like a good G-rated, so we can talk about just fun stuff and kind of
That's
get away
all
with
this show is.
That
It's
is
just an impromptu
wonderful.
show.
That
It's
is
just an impromptu
wonderful.
show. Very rarely do we talk about serious things. Like when I had Jeremy and Stacey Dunham on here about a year ago, and he's a Hebrew fella, so he brought a scroll from the Old
Oh,
Testament.
yes.
And that was a kind of a serious topic. But normally this show
It was
is-
kosher. It was
wonderful.
totally kosher.
Yeah, it was fun having him on there.
Okay.
He and his wife.
Wonderful. Well, let's close out again with prayer.
Go
Heavenly
ahead.
Father, in Jesus' name, thank you again for this fascinating show. Asaph Cafe with a fascinating host, Asaph Adonai. Continue to bless us all, and again, continue to protect us from all evil, O God, in Jesus' holy name.
Uh-huh. Thank you. I'm going to end this show with Just As I Am.
Yes.
And don't forget, you adult children, give your grandma and your mother a big hug, a rose, and a Baskin Robbins ice cream cone so they'll keep smiling through the misery. And you can find me on Facebook under Patricia Green.
That is called Just As I Am. And on
Yep.
that note, ladies and gentlemen, until our next show, Marantha.
Oops. The microphone fell off my leather jacket. I hope that we've been recording any of my audio.
I don't know, it should have.
I hope so. It fell off. Yeah, I just tried to pin it here. Oops.
Remember, your voice echoes.
Well, I'll make one last final acknowledgement. Again, we have Emmett on our show, ladies and gentlemen, and Patti Reed, our hostess, and our mascot, Pee Wee. So once again...
Oh, and thank you for the Senior Citizen Center for the food again.
Yeah, I
Thank
want
you.
to acknowledge them. And until our next show, once again, Marantha, ladies and gentlemen,
Yep.
Marantha.
Give the granny and your mommy a big hug for me. Love in the eye. Happy fall.